From Lalate headquarters in Santa Monica, this is Afternoons Lalate.
Wow, it is a big Saturday of Afternoons Lalate with incredible details about your fourth stimulus check this Saturday afternoon as the vote starts next week on your monthly fourth stimulus check. Here we go. The excitement's brewing as Jalapal makes the final statement before the push gets underway. We'll go over what the president's saying, Jalapal, and the progressives, and how much that monthly stimulus check is as we go into the excitement of next week. Then we turn to fifth stimulus that has another stimulus check set for next year, but also the raise of your benefits and why the federal chair out of St. Louis made this so fascinating with his comments late Friday. OMG, I have a lot of breaking news on that fifth stimulus coming up in this video. And then we turn to the big money, thousands of dollars you can get right now. I'm really excited for you. You continue to get it, and you can get it over the weekend as well. It's a big Saturday. It's a big day. There's a lot brewing. Let's get to the excitement. Let's get to the details, starting right here, right now, on Afternoons Lalate. Hey, good afternoon, everybody. It's Saturday afternoon. Hope you are crushing the weekend. Don't ever let the weekend crush you. Hope you are crushing the Saturday weekend, day one of your two-day wonderful weekend. Thank you for joining me. There's a lot of breaking news all weekend long, so certainly stay with me. I will be here recording new shows with you all day long. Boy, but how is the weather where you are? Jump in the live chat right now and tell me how the weather is and where you're tuning in from. It's beautiful here. It got cooler, a little bit on the muggy side, but definitely cooler, not overcast, but you know, it could change in a second. In this fourth stimulus check updated 2021, we'll be going over the excitement of next week as the voting started. The voting is started next week. After weeks of wondering and questioning and anticipation, the voting on a fourth stimulus check starts next week. Jalapal speaking, the president speaking, the progressives are speaking. I have all the comments and the calculations, how much at issue in this recording. Then we cut to fifth stimulus that heats up this fall with another stimulus check. But boy, St. Louis sent us for a ringer when its Fed chair on Friday gave us new indication about that inflation rate. It's wonderful, that inflation rate, because that is what raises up your benefits in fifth stimulus. In addition to that stimulus check, I have all the details of his comments and the analysis in this video. And then in the middle of this video, we go over the thousands of dollars of viewers continue to get it. It's your chance to get it as well. This is Lalate, the 24-hour-a-day, 7 days a week, only financial news channel in the United States that does this 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Live in the morning, taped in the afternoons. I'm next back with you with Evenings Lalate and a lot of breaking news you're going to hear only in that show. So stay on this video. 6 seconds after this video is over, it sends you right into that telecast, which starts about 90 minutes after the show is over. But first, subscribe. 400,000 subscribers, a YouTube record. Next stop, 1 million. I want you to subscribe and be part of this incredible family. Like this video. It helps with the weather. It helps with the weather. It also delivers you free pizza. No, I just hit the like button. You never know what happens when you hit that like button. You just get $12 ice cream in the mail. Something's going to happen. Also, consider becoming a member. Let's get right into that fourth stimulus check. The amount, the calculations, the details, the House bill, the Senate proposal, so much to go over. First, the monthly and the number of checks. House bill, Jalapal. Monthly, pandemic plus 1 year. Senate, 6 checks, July to December. If you're on the live chat, get ready to vote, House or Senate. Tell me where you're tuning in from. But not just yet. Let's go over those payouts. House, monthly, $1,000. After the first month, $2,000. Senate, monthly, unknown, but word on the street, this, OMG. Yes, the Senate Democrats reportedly want to pay you upwards of $2,000 a month over 6 months, $12,000. Or $1,400 over 6 months, $8,400. Let's go back to something we need to talk about, which is this pandemic plus 1 year in the House bill from Jalapal. Well, legislators may contend the pandemic is over, so that may reduce Jalapal's bill to just 12 months of checks. That's 12 checks or $13,000. Compare that now to this. Over 6 months. I think you have an opinion. Vote House or Senate. House or Senate right now. Jump in the live chat. Tell me which one you like. House or Senate. And tell me where you're tuning in from and how's the weather. Let's go over all the details you need to know about this monthly stimulus check starting right now. Who gets it? Democrats want everyone who got a third stimulus check to get a fourth stimulus check. So that's you. If you make less than $75,000, single individual, Democrats would give you a fourth stimulus check. Marry a couple, $150,000 or less, Democrats would give you a fourth stimulus check, double it. Household 4 or less, Democrats would give you a fourth stimulus check, quadruple it. And if you're on benefits, SSI, SSDI, Social Security, Railroad benefits, Veterans benefits, SSA, Democrats would give you a fourth stimulus check. The fourth stimulus check is not income, so it's not taxable. And the fourth stimulus check would come monthly, so it would not come in waves. It's a check that's not waivable, and it does not waive. So if you see that check walking at the beach today on a Saturday afternoon, say, "Hey, check, surf's up." Check didn't wave back at me. What a rude check. Oh, I hope you crash in those waves. It's not a rude check. It just doesn't know how to surf, and it's not a waivable check. In that order. So there you go. That is your non-waivable check. The fourth stimulus check would come from the Democrats in the month of July. They represent the final vote would be in the month of July for the fourth stimulus package. That means that you would get a check in the month of July for the month of July, and in the month of August for the month of August. And it also means the check would not be surfing. So there you go. That is your first of 3 parts of your fourth stimulus check updated 2021 in this video. In the second part, we go over the incredible news about Jalapal and the president, and the incredible details about the deals the president is hatching as we go into the finish line. In the third part, we're going to go over what's happening next week, the entire voting process, and I'll simplify it so you have your own little cheat sheet ready to go over item by item as we go through the voting process. But first, let's get a preview of the second half of this video, and it's fifth stimulus, and the head of the Federal Reserve out of St. Louis just really threw Wall Street for a tizzy on Friday. It's like, here you go. And Wall Street just went boop down after his comments about inflation. But those comments about inflation are hugely important and wonderfully important for fifth stimulus because your benefits are raised up with a new benchmark, inflation. And in the second half of this video, we'll be going over how this will raise your benefits potentially up 10% a lifetime. Oh boy, that's coming up in the second half of this video, plus a fifth stimulus check for everyone next year. But let's get some money. Let's get some money. Boy, get that pen and paper ready. If it must be a Crayola crown, I'm sure you have the color pink in that box. It's gotta match my shirt. So I'm gonna get you a lot of money in this video, and I want you to stay to the very end. So get that pen and paper ready and Crayola crown, because I want you to take notes. If you're new to this channel, this is what I do. I don't stand in front of a blank backdrop and read a script, or do I do stimulus tracking, or do I do stimulus psychic readings, or do I crash things off set? What I do is I get people money. Got viewers $25 million of EIDL last year to save their businesses, their homes, and their employees' homes, and then got them got Americans $250,000 of rent and utilities last year when second stimulus was not going out. Well, we're doing this now. Same time as last year, before third stimulus, now we're doing it before fourth stimulus. And there's a lot of money for you to get. You're going to be able to get to start rent utilities, mortgage assistance, and homeowners utilities. The rent is a lot. It's about $5,000 for 4 to 6 months of rent. So where are you going to get it? I'm going to go over the details right away. But first, I want you to know that each place has different eligibility. So if one says no, reach out to the next. They all have their own pot of money. All right, you ready? You're going to reach out to City Hall, City Housing Authority, County Hall, County Housing Authority, State Hall, State Housing Authority. Keywords you're going to say is rent assistance because of COVID, rent assistance because of COVID, or mortgage assistance because of COVID. You're not going to say words they don't know, like stimulus or Mitch's bikini shop. What? Don't want to know that visual. So no, you're not going to say words that they don't know. Last night on one of the videos, in one of the comments, someone said they reached out to the city. They didn't have it. Yeah, you got to reach out to the county and the state as well. That was an example that happened a lot in December for states like Alabama, Mississippi. Had nothing at the local level, and Louisiana as well, but had a lot at the state level. So keep on looking, those 6 different places. Congratulations to Tim and Linda who got this money. Wow. But the next pot of money, viewers are killing it. Viewers are killing it. If you've gotten $1 or $100,000, trust me, I've gotten both for viewers from this channel. Jump in the live chat because it inspires me and inspires other people. This week, one viewer got $5,000 for this next thing. Last week, someone got $6,000 to $7,000. This has been the big winner. And what is it? It's SNAP. SNAP is money for food. You get it from the Department of Agriculture. And it pays a lot. How much? About $16,000 for a family of 4 in Hawaii. Wow, why so much money? Because of 2 wonderful executive orders, one from Biden and one from Trump that raise your benefits up 15% between now and December. Lynn Glenn got it for herself, got it for her son and her mom. You can get it as well. Gail got it for herself as well. So go get it. $15,000, $16,000 for SNAP for a family of 4 in Hawaii because of 2 wonderful executive orders, one from Biden, one from Trump that raise your benefits up 15% between now and December. That $15,000 on one side, $5,000 for rent. We're killing it. We're killing it. You're killing it. We're on 11 minutes of this video, but I got more money for you right now, and it's $5,000. It's coming back from your states. Why? Federal government has identified states as overpaying you unemployment assistance in 2020 due to computer error. Not your computer. Your computer works fine. It's their darn computer. They're still on Windows 98. So the federal government said, no, that was a citizen's money to have. Return the money back to them and fix your darn computer. So there you go. One viewer got $5,000 for this. How do you get it? From the where are you going to get it? On the account that you have on file with your state's unemployment department. When are you getting it? Reach out to your state for them to track the money. And when you ask them to track the money, ask them not to use the same computer that messed it up in the first place. There you go. Let's turn to that last pot of money. And the last pot of the money is just wonderful. I mean, Paddington Bear is just has his hand in this pot because he's so excited. So it is money coming back from the federal government. Cod got it. Margaret got it. Everyone's been getting it. And someone jumped to the live chat yesterday to say, why has no one gotten it? Why is everyone getting it on this channel? So that's why I lean upon you for information. Viewers have been getting it. So if you've gotten this money, jump in the live chat right now. It is money coming back from IRS. Yes. Let's go over how much, when you're going to get it, the routing times, and all the details. First, how much? It's a lot. If you had $9,000 of total unemployment and you paid $5,000 in taxes, of which $4,000 was your taxes on unemployment, you're getting back $4,000. Congratulations. When? This month. Where? Account you have on file if you had that on direct deposit, otherwise in the mail. And can you track it? Yes, with your own computer, not with the state's computer. Yeah, you can track it yourself with your own computer, so it's going to work. Go to irs.gov, and 70% of the time it works. Set up a username and password, go in there, and do a transcript search. The transcript search will reveal the tax return you filed, the taxes you paid, the taco you had for lunch yesterday. Oh, no, it won't have that in there. But then it'll have the refund check you're getting. Oh, boy. And it won't have anything about Mitch's Bikini Shop either. And there you go. That is the wonderful news. That money's coming back for you. But can we top that wonderful news? We can. We're calling the vote. We're ready for the third update of your fourth stimulus check of 2021 in this video, starting right now. With the excitement of next week, the voting starting next week. Here we go. The excitement is brewing as the reconciliation process, which has been underway for several weeks, they're currently marking up the bill. We know they're going to end by July 4th, and we know they're going to end with a passage by July 4th. The official voting is starting next week as the president has called for the votes to start. I'll be going over all those details right now, but I'm going to start with the excitement from Jalapal. I'm also going to explain Jalapal's comments a little clearer because yesterday some viewers were getting a little confused. Some understood it and some got it, so let me go over that. They're legislators. They're confusing sometimes. Jalapal said late this week that the president has not told us progressives not to do what us progressives are doing. This is wonderful news. I'm going to explain that comment to you in a second because it confused some people. Next, Senator Brian Schatz, who is a Democrat progressive, also said the White House has repeatedly reassured him that the White House considers the progressive policies their progressive policies. and that the White House has not asked progressives to stop doing what they're doing. Okay, so let me explain what that means, because there's like a lot of double negatives in that, and unless you're good with grammar, maybe you get confused by the double negatives in the sentence. What's going on here is, I've told you for weeks, the president doesn't write the legislation. The president proposes the legislation, and the Congress writes the legislation for him. But he's drawn certain lines in the sand, and those lines in the sand that he is adamant they must be in his provision, in his fourth stimulus, or he's going to veto it, are two provisions. One, climate, and the second, which is the CARES economy, which refers to seniors and medicine, not the CARES Act 2020, but the CARES economy. Those are two items he must have in there, or otherwise he's going to veto it. Those two provisions are progressive policies. So what has he said to progressives? He said to them that he loves that they're pushing his two progressive policies to the finish line. They are the tow truck for him to get those two progressive policies to the finish line. To which the president has said to those progressives who write the legislation, who write the monthly stimulus checks, I like what you're doing. Just keep on doing what you're doing, and you can add on your progressive policies. Remember, stimulus checks from the progressives was always an add-on. It's something they add on in when they write the bill. But the president has actually now said emphatically to them that he loves what they're doing with everything, including stimulus checks. So the president, he has two progressive policies. The progressives have an additional progressive policy, the monthly stimulus checks. It is basically a kumbaya, a coming together moment in which he says, you're doing one progressive policy, I'm doing two, you're helping get all three over the finish line together. Thank you. Translation, that's how it works. So there is the exciting, wonderful news. Next, let's go over the excitement of next week. The excitement of next week dates back to the Friday before Memorial Day weekend, when Lena Schumer confirmed three things, which I've been reporting on this channel. One, the recon had been underway for a while. Number two, the recon would end with a final vote on July 4th. Number three, the recon will end with passage. Now, let me go over some things you're going to hear for the first time on Afternoons Lalate in several months. Number one, reconciliation. What does it mean? It means that there's no Republican needed for the vote. Number two, reconciliation means that a filibuster cannot be used. So I want you to understand, recon literally means to the finish line with the Democrats. But how did we get to that point? Well, we got to that point with Jalopal as well. Jalopal had written Schumer a letter, and Jalopal said, call the vote, Chuck. Chuck, call the vote. And I don't mean vote on the mass sinker. I mean the vote on the recon. And the letter was co-signed by 12 House Democrats, who are among the 100-plus House Democrats who had written the president a letter a week earlier saying, Mr. President, we're going to be putting monthly stimulus checks in the fourth stimulus package. Wow. These are progressives. These are progressives who the president's now saying, I love what you're doing. Keep on doing what you're doing. That's what he's referring to in that comment that I just said over a second ago. Well, can we top that? We can't top that. When 7 House progressives, again, wrote the president a letter about a week ago saying, Mr. President, when we write the fourth stimulus check, we're going to be putting monthly stimulus checks in there. What do you mean when you write it? Who are you? Who are you to write something? What do you do for a living? Well, these people are on the House subcommittee that's solely exclusively responsible for writing stimulus checks in our Congress. Did they write the first stimulus check? They did. Did they write the second stimulus check? They did. Did they write the third? They did. And they're writing the fourth? They say they are. And they're currently marking up the bill. OMG. Well, are you writing a fifth stimulus check by chance? They are writing a fifth stimulus check, and I'll have the details of that in the second half of this video. Wow, now that's wonderful. Can we top that? We can. The president has now two things in the feather in his cap. One, he has set the voting to start next week. Number two, he has that international agreement on the books. Let's go over that international agreement so you understand what it means. I'm going to go back to how it started on this channel about 2 weeks earlier. I had told you it was confusing. It was complicated. I need to slow it down. So let me slow it down again. The fourth stimulus is paid for by raising the U.S. corporate tax rate. That's the rate that corporations pay in the United States for taxes. The president had said he was worried about raising tax rates on corporations here because these corporations here may leave here and go overseas to find a lower corporate tax rate in another country. So the president had an idea: reach out to those other countries and have them raise their corporate tax rate. Brilliant. And they said, yeah, we'll do it. Okay. So he reached out to his legislative team, said, team, what did you have for lunch? Everybody else said, hey, let's try to get those countries to sign on the dotted line later this year around Christmas, and then we'll come back and remove those provisions from forced stimulus. Well, they said, yeah, let's do that. And that was great news. But then he surprised us. Biden did it because out of nowhere, in a brilliant legislative move, he, in his first trip internationally as president, went overseas and got the G7 countries to sign on the dotted line about this now, last weekend, a week ago today, before forced stimulus is passed, so that it makes easier to anchor forced stimulus right to the edge of the finish line right now. Because those provisions about corporate tax rates and moving things overseas are no longer needed in the forced stimulus package. They're now in the international agreement. There you go. So finally, he's making it easier by anchoring it to the edge of the finish line and removing those provisions. It's wonderful news. Is there even better wonderful news? There is. And it's in the third part of this fourth stimulus check, updated 2021. I'll be going over what you should anticipate next week, what you should anticipate from both sides of the aisle, and how you prepare for next week. It's all breaking with the fifth stimulus. But first, I got even better great news: the volunteers. If you need help with rent, utilities, mortgage assistance, or homeowners assistance, viewers have stepped forward just like me in the true embodiment of the Purple Power spirit to help one another. That's what I do, and that's what they do. So if you need help with rent, utilities, mortgage assistance, reach out to them. They do everywhere nationally. Where do you find them? On the community page. Open the description to this video. Open the description, and in that description, you'll see an emoji of a house. Next to that emoji of house is the words community page. Click that link, and it sends you over the community page. There's a picture of some kitty cats. They're not the volunteers. Lower on the page are the volunteers. They'll help you get that rent, utilities, mortgage assistance, and also homeowners utilities. They will not do anything about taxes, unemployment, cooking you a tostada, or getting you $12 ice cream. So don't ask for things other than what I just covered. And there you go. Coming up in the second half of this video, the excitement about fourth stimulus and fifth stimulus. I can't wait for it. But here's a little bit about the volunteers and what they do and what they don't do. I'll see you in just about 60 seconds from now. Stay here with excitement, fourth stimulus and fifth stimulus heating up. If you want money right now, not 5 days from now, and not 5 weeks from now, then reach out to the community page. The volunteers can help you find that money for rent and utilities. That's at news.la.com/community. The community page features a series of volunteers who are viewers like you. They can help you find rent, utilities, SNAP, food benefits, mortgage assistance, and help you with eviction moratorium questions as well. Their Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram individuals. Reach out to them and indicate the city and state you're from, and they'll get back to you shortly. That's a community page. Volunteers working for you, viewers helping one another. Stay with LA for more. Join Lalate Daily for the excitement of the new Lalate live daily. The excitement starts on mornings Lalate at 9 a.m. Home Lalate returns at 11 a.m. daily. And then afternoons Lalate at 1 p.m. Join us daily as the excitement continues live from Santa Monica on Lalate. And the excitement continues right now on Afternoons Lalate with exciting details about your fourth stimulus and fifth stimulus heating up. I'm really excited for you to hear this news on a beautiful Saturday afternoon. direct from Santa Monica, California. Hope you're wonderful. How's the weather where you are? And tell me where you're tuning in from if you're just joining into this extended afternoon's broadcast. There's a lot of breaking news today, and so we're running a little bit longer. But first, subscribe. 400,000 subscribers, a YouTube record. I want you part of this family. Hit that subscribe button right now. Like this video. It helps to deliver free pizza. It also helps in the algorithm ranking. So hit that like button. Also, consider becoming a member. In the second half of this video, we'll be going over fourth stimulus and fifth stimulus. A lot of breaking news. You're going to be very excited. Let's get to the details starting right now. This stimulus has a lot of breaking news, and it surprisingly got a big twist from a guy in St. Louis on Friday. Where did this come from? Let's go over all the breaking news about fifth stimulus, starting first with that, of course, fifth stimulus check. Will there be a fifth stimulus check? Yes, there will. When would you get it? January next year. When would we start seeing the legislative efforts? When fifth stimulus starts in September, out the door by passage around November-ish. So this would be a fifth stimulus check. Would it be monthly? We don't know the details yet, but I anticipate it would. That is going to come from those 7 House Democrats who said they're going to put it into the fifth stimulus package. All right, so that's the first item. Second item is exciting details as the president has dedicated $1 billion to the Social Security Administration to ensure that you get checks on time. And every day I just say, I'm the one that's really excited about this. And then I never see anyone excited about it except me. Why am I excited about this? So I don't have to hear about Direct Express by Comerica. I had heard enough about that in January and February. Needless to say, I made 5,000 videos about it, but everyone's third stimulus check was not coming on time because Social Security Administrator didn't have information about you. He's trying to solve that to ensure that fourth stimulus checks come on time, fifth stimulus checks come on time, all checks come on time. There you go. Then the third breaking news, which is actually multiple elements of it. It came first early in the week when the Consumer Price Index and the Producer Price Index number were released. They both showed inflation is red hot. It's red hot. And analysts on Wall Street finally were sort of moving up their numbers. They now think we're at about 4% inflation and heading to a transitory, temporary spike or peak of 10%. 4% going up to a transitory, which is a technical term referring also to temporary, peak of 10% and then coming back down. So what happened with that inflation discussion? Well, Wednesday, the federal chair, Jerome J. Powell, appeared on Capitol Hill, and I told you he was not going to talk about inflation because he can't make Wall Street nervous about it. But he said that there would be 2 interest rate spikes, not this year, not next year, but the year after, number one. Number two, he said the economy is not fully rebounded. He needs to continue supporting the economy. That's wonderful for you. And then he said he sees the commodity market like lumber and cost of goods sold coming down later this year. And it is coming down. It's come down about 9% this year. It's still up from last year, like wood and lumber, but it has come down this year. For year to date, it's down. So then came Friday. Oh, yeah. That head of the Federal Reserve out of St. Louis then suddenly said, I anticipate the interest rate spikes next year, and inflation's a little bit hotter than we expected. That's why Wall Street went, ooh. Yeah, that was a little inconsistent with Jay Powell. But what does that mean for your fifth stimulus? It means everything. Because the way that your fifth stimulus works when we're talking about raising your benefits is first they raise your benefits up one time. And then every December for the next year, they apply the new benchmark of inflation. You gotta hope that that inflation rate reaches that spike right when they apply that benchmark this year. Because that spike is going to be the highest spike of nearly 30, 40 years. It's not going to be at that rate ever again, anytime soon. Why you got to hope that? Because your benefits raise up lifetime based upon that spike. Let me go over the analysis for you now with some numbers. Fifth stimulus heats up this fall with that SSI reform. Let's go over the details. First, they'll apply the inflationary benchmark, as you just heard. Then they'll raise your benefits up. They'll remove the asset limit, remove the income exclusion, remove the marriage penalty. Let's do the calculation so you see how this works. First, they're going to raise your benefits up one big time under fifth stimulus. This is you if you're on SSI, SSDI, Social Security, Railroad benefits, SSA, or multiple benefits. Then in December, every year, but the first time this December, they'll apply the benchmark, inflation. Well, if we hit that spike, that peak, that mountain, that temporary, that transitory spike of 10%, when they apply the benchmark, then this is what's going to happen. Your benefits will raise up 10%, not just next year, but lifetime. This is absolutely enormous because benefits never step down. They're either step up or stay the same. So you got to really hope that that spike kicks in around when they apply the benefits. It's wonderful, wonderful news. It is astronomical more money than anything that the SS200 was going to provide you. Then they're going to remove the asset cap dating back to 1980s law. They're going to get rid of that law that says you can't have more than $3,000 in hand. Trying to get some stimulus checks in the hands. They're going to remove the 1960s law that says you can't work, you'll be able to work. And finally, they're going to remove the marriage penalty, horrible rule that penalizes you if you want to work. Now, that penalizes you if you want to get married, although marriages work. So now love is going to win. You'll be able to marry your longtime love interest and not fear the marriage penalty. Or fear Mitch's bikini shop. You won't be able to fear anything. Maybe fear the honeymoon. But you won't have to fear anything. And love is going to win. And now that is the excitement of your fifth stimulus package. But guess what? There's a lot of other money in fifth stimulus for you. There's a lot of other money in fourth stimulus for you. And there's thousands of dollars of money for you right now in third stimulus, which is law. So how do you know which money you can get? By becoming a member. Members are sent daily from me via the community page, PDFs which break down everything that's in the third, the fourth, and the fifth stimulus. If you're looking at the live chat, you're seeing people with emojis of a purple hawk next to their name. They are members. If they have a little dot in the corner, they've been members for several months. And what does members get? They get a breakdown of all that money that they are entitled to. That's application based, so it's not automatic. You need to apply for it, but it's thousands of dollars. So consider becoming a member. The link's at the top of the chat and bottom of the video, so a description of the video, so you can get delivered to you daily what's in the third stimulus. It's thousands of dollars more than a stimulus check. And now let's go back to our fourth stimulus for the third of our three-part update. Boy, there's some exciting stuff coming this week. I'm going to go over personal message. Then I'm going to go over calling the vote. This is very important for next week. Fake narratives. And finally, Purple Power Push. First, personal messages. Afternoons and evenings, Lalate has been on fire. But here's what you need to know. Do not categorically ever jump into the live chat and say something like, the taco guy at the corner said to me that this about your fourth stimulus check. How would he know? He doesn't know anything. How does he know? He's not in the legislature. The only people who know what is a finality are people who make the finality, the legislators. One person yesterday in an afternoon's LA jumped into the live chat and said they called up a lobbyist in the Social Security Administration, and that person said to them, they're not getting a fourth stimulus check. I laugh because Social Security has nothing to do with sending out your stimulus check. And second, it's not bill yet, and it's not law yet. Well, of course it's not law yet. They wouldn't know anything about it. Moreover, they don't send out your stimulus check. And they're not tracking legislative activity at the Social Security Administration. So why would you do that? Why would you ask someone that has nothing to do with the situation? And the person wouldn't stop. Of course, that person was banned. So it's important to understand that this is not the time and place to run the Psychic Prediction Stimulus Network. There was another viewer in the live chat yesterday jumped in and said, hey, everybody, do you think we're getting a stimulus check or not? What is that about? That's not the time or place to be doing this. Do we think we're getting it? Well, maybe if I was a legislator and I was on the legislative floor and talking to the 50 people who are voting on it every 4 hours, I could tell you whether I think you're going to get it. But if I'm sitting on my front porch in the middle of the week, in the middle of the Midwest, and saying, do I think I'm getting it? Well, you don't know any more than the person sitting on the beach on the other side of the coast. The only people that know are the legislators. And it's important to know that they're currently marking up the bill. They have a draft of the bill in their hand, and they got a pen. What does marking up the bill mean? It literally means marking up the bill. So the pen has an ink on one side and an eraser on the other side. If you think that there's something in there, at any moment they could be turning the pen to the eraser side and erasing it out. Or if you think it's not in there, they could be turning it to the ink side and writing it in. It's not bill yet. We have an emoji for that. It's not a law yet. We have an emoji for that. And we also have a donate emoji. So understand, the process is underway, and until it's finished, you need to push. And you've been doing a wonderful job. A week ago today, we were seeing about 12 tweets a day, 12 hours. Now there's about 100, 200 tweets an hour. Keep it up. Let's go over the legislative process to understand how this can get modified over 9 voting steps, and that no one should ever be the psychic stimulus network, the psychic predictor, or the psychic opinionator. Let's psychic stimulus opinionator. I don't know what I just said, but you know what I said. Let's go over the 9 steps. Step 1, the House subcommittee calls the procedural bill. Step 2, the House floor calls the procedural bill. Step 3, the Senate calls the procedural bill. Step 4, the President signs the law, the procedural bill. All right, now step 5 and 7 and 8 coming up are the important ones. Step 5, the House subcommittee, which is marking up the bill, that has the pen with the pen ink on one side and the eraser on the other side, marks up the bill, finishes it, and calls it for a vote. Until they call for a vote, there can be any changes that they want to change. People change. These are legislators. They change. That's step 5. Step 6, the House votes on the final House bill. Step 7 and 8, here we go. Very important. The Senate vote-a-rama. The senators receive from the House bill. 3 possibilities. 1, the House bill has no stimulus checks in there. The senators can amend and add it in there. Possibility number 2, the House bill has stimulus checks in there, and the senators love it. They leave it alone. Or possibility number 3, the House bill has stimulus checks in there, and the senators want to amend, and they can amend. And finally, step 9, the president signs it into law. And there you go. That is step 1 to step 9. Can they do multiple steps in one day? Yes. Can they do the vote-a-rama quicker than those 2 days? No, that's required by the Constitution. When will they finish? July 4th. Will they start exactly on Monday? They never said they're going to start exactly on Monday, but they're getting underway early this coming week, the president has said. Now, let's go to fake narratives. Fake narratives are going to be very, very big next week. They're going to be very big to the final moment in the final hour. You and I have done one recon before. It was third stimulus. And then we've done CR for stimulus in fall of 2020, which is a little bit like a recon because there's a lot of last minute changes. And we also had first stimulus. We also had second stimulus. So let's go over the fake narratives going into next week that already are there, that are brand new this weekend. And the fake narratives I anticipate because I've seen them before. The fake narratives, number 1, that are currently existing. These are fascinating. That certain Democrats are doing a U-Haul truck game. What? Well, they're saying, hey, you're doing a fourth stimulus? I have a U-Haul truck back outside, and it has my turnips and Brussels sprouts law I want to have inserted. What are you talking about, George? We're not doing a Brussels sprouts law. Well, if you don't, I'm not voting for you. They do this all the time. So I want you to be prepared for that fake narrative. There's a certain person, and I think you know who I'm referring to. He folds like a lawn chair. He always at the 11th hour comes up with something, says, I'm not voting unless you give me my Brussels sprouts law. And then they don't have it in there. And he's like, okay, all right, I'll vote for it. He does that all the time. But there's some Democrats who are coming forward with some some ancillary, bizarre inclusions of stuff. Some that people like, and some that just like, what? No, we're not doing that this time, sir. So I want you to anticipate that strange fake narrative. The fake narrative of they're not voting for it unless it's in there. They just do that. They say that, and then they just fold like lawn chairs. They do it all the time. Number 2, I want you to, the fake narrative of some print media is just all over the place. There is enough old articles from March, April, May, that you can pull up and say, oh, the article says that. Those articles mean much of nothing. Unless the words are coming from the president, Chuck, Jalapal, or myself in the community that very day, it's antiquated, it's old news, so it's irrelevant at this point. Third, you're going to hear stuff from the Republican side because they're unhappy that they're not involved in the process, and you're going to hear stuff from the Democratic side down to the very last second. And Here's some stuff which I've seen before, which I want you to be ready for. It hasn't happened yet, but I expect these fake narratives to happen. One, certain conservative press often use moderate Democrats as a fear factor to say things, conservative press, say things like, Joe Manchin's not going to give you the vote. And then they want you to run that, they want you to keep on repeating it when he has already said he's going to vote for the forced stimulus. So there's certain conservative press that will run things to scare you based upon fake narratives of other Democrats. You're also going to see strange narratives down to the last minute. When we did third stimulus, the recon, there was a lot of strange things happening down to the very last second. So don't get off the track because you hear something weird for a moment. Remember, if there's something not in the House side, it can be added in the Senate side. And finally, there is always someone that's saying they have a line in the sand among the Democrats, and they've already started with those words. Unless it's in there, I'm not doing. Yeah, so just sort of ignore that. All right, finally, Purple Power, you've been doing a great job. So continue to push. Hashtag MSE, hashtag Purple Power. Tweet all weekend long, because when they come into office on Monday, they see your tweets. Tag the Democrats in the Senate, tag the Democrats in the House, tag the progressives, tag the progressive members of the caucuses, the House Progressive Caucus, its chair, its vice chair, its Twitter account, the Senate Progressive Caucus, its chair, its vice chair. And also, if you don't use social media, then go on the telephone, call up your elected official, speak to their DC office, speak to them respectfully and professionally, the Democrat, and express to them the need of your stimulus check. Finally, Thursday, new jobless numbers were released, bad. Showed new escalation of jobless claims, showing that we need stimulus. More people went on unemployment than the week before. So with that, thank you for joining me on a big extended afternoon's broadcast. Subscribe. I don't want you to miss a single video. I got more breaking news coming up on Evenings LA. So stay with this video. It'll automatically take you to Evenings LA 6 seconds after this video is over. I'll have new details you're going to hear only on Evenings LA. Subscribe. 400,000 subscribers, a YouTube record. Like this video, 2,000-3,000 likes, and consider becoming a member. Purple Hawk, Purple Power, Calcino VIP. Stay informed, stay focused, and stay with LA for more.